like, bro.
She got a kid. Look at his back. Oh my god. Yeah, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to another reaction. Today we're reacting to can we stop with this stupid term African American? This is Larry Elder.
Yeah, I never heard of him.
No, I haven't. Never.
If you know who he is, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, one of y'all requested him, so we're gonna react to his video, see what he got going on. But apparently, he's probably, I guess, he's like another political figure, or at least like another political person. He got another standpoint on that, or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, you're gonna be talking about African Americans. What do you think about the term African American?
Well, to be completely honest, I'm an American.
Yeah, I don't think I have. I think the fact that I was born on the continent of America, of the United States, I obviously I recognize the fact that I have African ancestry, but
yeah, I recognize that. But
you know, we pretty much all do. If you want to be like super realistic about it, we all
yeah,
right from Africa anyway.
Yeah, you can see that in black, but
it's like you don't tell the Romans to get African ancestry. Like, don't tell me I got African ancestry.
Right.
Like, come on. I don't know. It's kind of different. That's like 200 years ago.
Yeah, it is.
It's like 200.
But
I'm
even
born
then,
in America.
Right.
It's not like, come on, man. Yeah, we just want to see what this guy got to say. It's the road to 10K subscribers. We appreciate all the support. We're going to hop right into this reaction.
I want to tell you about a conversation I had with a congressperson and the term African American. I did a lot of crisscrossing across the so-called battleground states on behalf of the re-election of President Donald Trump, and I met a congressperson, Republican congressperson, who backstage right before both of us were to give a speech, he and I were talking, and he mentioned how he outreaches to the African American community, and he's concerned about the African American church, and he's trying to get the African American vote. He was white. And after the fourth or fifth African American, I couldn't take it anymore. And I said, I don't want to be offensive, and I'm not suggesting that you are being offensive, but I really don't like the term African-American. And he goes, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you. I said, again, you didn't offend me. I'm just telling you, I consider the term to be demeaning, divisive, and pretty stupid. I mean, after all, the Constitution banned the importation of new slaves in 1808. So the likelihood is that my people have been here longer than most of the white people who are here. Yet you don't find white people with a Irish-American or British-American or German-American. Why do I have a hyphen, but many whites who arrived here after my family did do not have a hyphen? I'll give that some consideration. I said, I don't expect you to stop saying it. I know it's become
because it doesn't make sense.
I'm just telling you, I don't like it.
Like what he said, like I was talking about, like it was 200 years ago. But yeah, we've been here for a while, man. Like that whole term, we're Americans, bro.
Yeah, like yeah, we come from the same place. If that's the case, yeah, like he was saying about the hyphen dash Irish and British, I'm like,
yeah,
everybody's from nobody's from this country except the Native Americans.
Y'all be like Norwegian American, Irish American, German American. Like y'all don't get it.
Like real Americans are Native Americans.
That's just so stupid. You applying to a job, why does it even matter?
What
race are you?
No, you seen the thing? It'd be like, it'd be like, are you Hispanic? I'm like, why did they sing out the Hispanics?
I'm like, I don't know.
I'm like,
Native American.
Yeah, because they ask you, are you Hispanic? And then they ask you what your race is. So I'm like, I was like, wait, what was that for? I think that was after like Trump.
They sent that straight to ICE. Check this one out, man.
Find it condescending. And you know what else? I'm not the only one who feels that way.
Yeah, come on.
I love being called black. I love being an American. I love being a black American. But as a black man in this country, I think it's a shame that every few years we get a change of name. Since those first ships arrived here from Africa that came across the sea, there were already black men in this country who were free. And as for those who came over on those troubled boats, they were called enslaved and told what to do and how to behave. And then Master started tripping, doing his midnight tipping down to the slave shacks where he forced he and great-great-grandma to be together. And the great-great-grandpa protested, he got tired and feathered. And at the same time, the black men in the country who were free were mating with the tribes like the Apache and the Cherokee. And as a result of all that, we're a parade of every shade. And in this late day and age, you can be sure there ain't too many of us in this country whose bloodline is pure. But according to a geological, geographical, genealogy study published in Time magazine, the black African people were the first on the scene. So for what it's worth, the black African people were the first on Earth, and through migration, our characteristics started to change and rearrange to adapt to whatever climate we migrated to. And that's how I became me, and you became you. So if we're going to go back, let's go all the way back. And if Adam was black and Eve was black, then that kind of makes it a natural fact that everybody in America is an African American.
Let's say, you calling a Roman that?
Everybody in Europe is an African European. Everybody in the Orient is an African Asian, and so on and so on. That is, if the origin of man is what we're going to go on. And if one drop of black blood makes you black like they say, then everybody's black anyway.
I don't know if he was intentionally rhyming, but he is.
I'm trying to change my identity. I'm already who I was meant to be. I'm a black American, born and raised. And Brother James Brown wrote a wonderful phrase. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. Because I'm proud to be black. And I ain't never lived in Africa. And because my great-great-granddaddy on my daddy's side did, don't mean I want to go back. Now, I have nothing against Africa. It's where some of the most beautiful places and people in the world are found. But I've been blessed to go a lot of places in this world. And if you ask me where I choose to live, I pick America, hands down. Now, by and by, we were called Negroes. And that's why my name was Spanish. Anyway, Negro is just how you say black in Spanish.
I wouldn't live anywhere besides.
Yeah, I'm cool, man. I like it here.
Because people don't realize how bad it is in other countries. They really don't know.
Not necessarily how bad it is, but the amount of security you have here in the United States, outside of like the usual shenanigans of the people, it's the people who do it. It's not necessarily
the people in the country. They're like places like
If you stay out the way, you do what you're supposed to. If you do what you're supposed to, like the institutions are necessarily like you'll be alright. You know, I don't know. It really just depends on where you are.
Like Mexico.
It really depends on where you are. There's some people in situations.
It's like I heard some stuff. I'm like, regular people usually go through bad stuff down there.
I don't know, man. Regular people go through bad stuff everywhere. But I'm just saying, I'd rather go through bad stuff in the United States. And that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
We were called color. But shit, everybody's one color or another, and I think it's a shame that we hold that against each other. And it seems like we reverted back to a time when being called black was an insult. Even if it was another black man who said that the fight would result. Because we've been so brainwashed that black was wrong till even the yellow and the black couldn't get along. But then came the 1960s, when we struggled and died to be called equal and black, and we walked with pride with our heads held high and our shoulders pushed back. And black was beautiful. But I guess that wasn't good enough. Because now here they come with some other stuff. Who comes up with this shit anyway? Was it one or a group of just sitting around one day? Feeling a little insecure again about being called black and decided that African American sounded a little more exotic. Well, I think you were being a little more neurotic. It's that same mentality that got Amos and Andy put off there because they were embarrassed about the way the characters spoke. And as a result of that action, a lot of wonderful black actors ended up broke. When we were just laughing and having fun about ourselves. So I say, f you if you can't take a joke. You didn't see the Beverly Hillbillies being protested by white folks. And if you think, of course you think, that being called African American sets all black people's minds at ease, since we affectionately call each other, I affectionately say to you, Nick, please.
Samuel Jackson smiling somewhere.
How come I didn't get a chance to vote on who I'd like to be? Who gave you the right to make that decision for me? I ain't under your rule or in your dominion, and I'm entitled to my own opinion. Now, there are some African Americans here, but they recently moved here from places like Kenya, Ethiopia, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Zaire. But now the brother whose family's lived in this country for generations, occupying space in all the locations, New York, Miami, LA, Detroit, Chicago, even if he's wearing a dashiki and sporting an afro. And if you go to Africa in search of your race, you'll find out quick you're not an African American. You're just a black American in Africa taking up space. Why you keep trying to attach yourself to a continent where you
there's no reason for me to be in it.
Most people that wouldn't even
not.
claim you as one of them, as a purebred dog.
It's hot.
Your heritage is right here now, no matter what you call yourself or what you say. And a lot of people died to make it that way. And if you think America's a leader on inequality and suffering and grieving, how come there's so many people coming and so few leaving? Rather than all this fine thought with America shit you promoting, if you want to change something, use your privilege. Get to the polls, come and support me. God knows we've earned the right to be called American Americans and be free at last. And rather than you moving forward with progress, you're dwelling in the past. We struggled too long, we've come too far. To the folks that know who we were, let's be proud of who we are. We're the only people whose name is always a trend. When is this going to end? Look at all the different colors of our skin. Black is not our color, it's our core. It's what we've been living and fighting and dying for. But if you choose to be called African American and that's your preference, then I give you that reference. But I know on this issue I don't stand alone on my own. And if I do, then let me be me. And I'd appreciate it if when you see me, you say, there goes a man who says it loud. I'm black. I'm black. I'm a black American, and I'm proud. Because I love being an American. And I love being black. I love being called black. Yeah, I said it. And I don't take it back.
And here's what Teddy Roosevelt said about hyphenated Americans. There is no room in this country for hyphenated Americans. When I refer to hyphenated Americans, I do not refer to naturalized Americans. Some of the very best Americans I have ever known were naturalized Americans, Americans born abroad. But a hyphenated American is not an American at all. This is just as true of the man who puts native before the hyphen as of the man who puts German or Irish or English or French before the hyphen. Americanism is a matter of the spirit and of the soul. Our allegiance must be purely to the United States. We must unsparingly condemn any man who holds any other allegiance. The one absolutely certain way of bringing this nation to ruin, of preventing all possibility of its continuing to be a nation at all, would be to permit it to become a tangle of squabbling nationalities, an intricate knot of German Americans, Irish Americans, English Americans, French Americans, Scandinavian Americans.
Yeah, like there's no reason to have. There's no reason to have all that.
American. It's like niggas just want to argue. Why?
For no reason.
Why? He's like,
It's like meant to separate.
niggas sitting at the computer like,
These men who do not
we cancel for that. Oh my God.
are
What are you
hyphenated
doing?
Americans, and there ought to be no room for them in this country. The man who calls
What's going
himself
on, man?
an American
What's
citizen
going on?
and who yet shows by his actions that he is primarily the citizen of a foreign land plays a thoroughly mischievous part in the life of our body politic. He has no place here, and the sooner he returns to the land to which he feels his real heart allegiance, the better it will be for every good American, end of quote. And goodness, who does that sound like?
A firestorm of reactions continuing today to a series of tweets from President Trump targeting a group of Democratic congresswomen. The president saying they should go back to the broken and crime-infested places from which they came.
Oh my
By the way,
God.
I feel pretty much the same way about the term
Oh my
black
God.
leader.
It was
My father, who, as you know, ran a small cafe for a number of years, told me that a white customer came into the cafe once and said, "Randy, did you hear what your leader said last night?" And my dad said, "My leader?" He goes, "Yeah, you know, Jesse Jackson, you're a leader."
Jesse
And
Jackson.
my dad said, "Really? Who is your leader?" And the white guy says, "Well, I don't have one." And my dad says, "You work for somebody else. I work for myself. But I have a leader and you don't." And the man goes, "Well, I never thought about it." My dad says, "I'm my own leader." Now, I told that story one time before a youth group. And I said, when you think about it, who is the German leader, German American leader? Who is the Irish American leader? Who's the Hispanic American leader? But black Americans have a leader. Who is the Italian American leader? A kid raised his hand in the back and said, "Rocky!"
Rocky. That's the leader. That's the leader. You can't even see him.
And we've got a country to say, "I'll see you next time." Yo, Adrian!
He gave us some good insights, like the fact that like all these different all these different high take quotation Americans is like, man, come on, bro, American. If you're born
Yeah,
in
there's no
America,
reason to like divide people. Like, we're all in the same country. We're gonna
Exactly.
if we gotta abide by the same laws.
We're all trying to progress towards the same goals. We're all, I mean, if we're all talking like trying to talk about climate change and shit, we gotta get over this race thing and start focusing on some other things that's gonna help progress the planet.
The planet. Nobody cares about like.
Yeah.
Nobody's trying to argue and
telling
have
you.
war all the time. I'm like, it's gonna be too late.
Skin color ain't gonna mean nothing when you see that
ball of death.
Texas size savage. Texas size savage. Coming out of the sky and it cracks the ground with a force you've never felt before. Skin color? You primate, you monkey. Frieza, you monkey. I can't believe it. There's so many other things that we can be focusing on. Like, there's literally people, like, downtown, starving, sitting in the snow. Like, these people should have, like, something. Like, I don't know, there's a lot to work on. But, hopefully America can get itself together. That's what the whole point of this channel. We can get some thoughts going and get
some real thoughts going.
Yeah, and get this conversation started, man. Let's try to change our country, people. Let's start it here. Let's get this conversation going. But yeah, if you enjoyed this reaction, make sure to like, button, subscribe, and share, man. It's the road to 10K subscribers. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace.